everybody, welcome back to another Friday with Dannphan. How are you doing this fine week? My hair is a little bit messy, please excuse me. I hope everyone's been overall having a good week. I managed to get 2 videos up. Woo! So sort of, kind of back on schedule, but not really, right? I still have to make videos for next week, and I'll probably only have about time to make one for next week because I gotta do other things, believe it or not. But that's how it goes sometimes, you know? Is there any news this week? To be honest, I feel like this week kind of flew by. It went super quick. I did the 2 videos, and then I also did the drawing with Dannphan, and we'll have another drawing with Dannphan next week. I'll do another chapter cover. Thinking about what to do. I thought about doing for something with Ginger, and you know, maybe just do a cute chapter cover, but maybe that's out of tone. Maybe I should save that for another time. I also thought about doing something with like a tavern waitress, just to add in some titties, right? Just to give the young male readers a little dose of tits. Am I too early into the stream to drop the words titties in the chat? But yeah, a lot of people were requesting some more stuff with Siddharth, so I could do something Siddharth related for sure. I could do something cute. I'll see if I can figure out what the other artists are doing for their chapter covers, or if they're still even going to be doing their chapter covers. I know some people have been a little bit busy lately, and I get it. As someone who is super busy right now at this point in my life, I do get it. Sometimes you think that you have free time, and then other stuff piles up, and then there is no free time. It's all gone forever, you know? But yeah, thanks for the super chat. I love to draw. This is for putting yourself through He's Prego. Yeah, that was brutal, huh? It's a funny read through. But, that was rough. I got another one that's like kind of fucking weird also, that I haven't read through yet, but I was going to. Part of the reason why I think people might enjoy it is because of it has the most ridiculous title of all time. Probably ever, yeah. Yeah, it's super ridiculous title. And I think it'll probably be more funny than cringy. The disappointing thing about He's Expecting is that it's super cringe. It's like way more cringe than funny. There's no jokes in that manga. It's supposed to be a comedy. It is supposed to be a comedy, but there's no jokes. It's so dead. It's completely dead on the inside. Part of the reason why it's just 90% cringe and nothing else. So yeah, needed a sanity break between them. Yeah. I mean, I did review the Spy X Family movie. There's that, right? That's kind of a sanity break. Retta, It's Not Like Getting a Job Will Kill You a while back, and I enjoyed it. I'm glad that you did. That was a really fun one-shot, for sure. And I'd like to do a sequel to it, but, you know, everything's just kind of piling on top of each other at this point. I think I'll do a sequel when I have time. Just gotta, like, finish up some things. I can do a little bit of a progress report on Reaper. I've done basically all of the extra pages. I'm going to finish, my goal for tonight is to finish up that one chapter, the double page illustration with Ichabod and Siddharth statue. I'm gonna do that tonight and finish that up. and then I'll do a sketch for another chapter illustration. Whatever I do for that, maybe I'll do something with a flashback with Siddharth in his youth or something. And maybe people would enjoy that since they seem to enjoy the character, so might as well capitalize on it, right? And then it's really like mostly about getting that feedback and editing what needs to be edited. So far, a lot of the stuff that I've noticed are kind of mistakes I've kind of noticed on my own. So I think me reading through it will certainly, I'll be fixing a lot of stuff. But I'm still waiting for feedback from the people that I gave it to beta read. So it is what it is, right? But hey, you can see behind me, it's the poster. It's kind of covered in glare, unfortunately. Is that coming from this light? Or is it coming... Yeah, it's the poster! Woo! So we got something cool in the background now. Unfortunately, these particular posters that I ordered, I fucked up. I ordered them wrong. So these don't have the same thickness as these posters. And it's not that big of a deal, but you can feel the difference, and they feel cheap. And I don't want the posters from the campaign to feel like that. I want them to at least feel the equivalency of the other past posters that I've done for campaigns. So I ordered more with the correct thickness. But yeah, that was my bad on that one. I gotta get that expedited shipping now, but it should be fine because, you know, I still haven't sent the actual books to the printer yet. And I'm planning to send them to the printer next week. I don't want editing to take too long. I want to get this run and done, you know? It's just a shame that I haven't really gotten much feedback yet, you know? A lot of people just like, I'll read it later. It's like, well, I'm on a little bit of a time crunch here, you know? Because I was hoping to get like 2 rounds of readers reading the first draft, or the first final draft, and then doing another round, and then reading the second final draft, etc., etc. So I'm hoping that we can speed this up a little bit. Poster looks great, yeah. It really looks good. I really like it. I'm very glad that I went with that artist to do that poster. Turned out quite well. But yeah, that's a brief update on everything. I'll do the next drawing with Dannphan. We'll do it on the new illustration for another chapter cover. And I won't really worry or stress over finishing it in one sitting. Because Lord knows I am not... multiple streams of just doing that one double page spread with the Siddharth statue in Ichabod, and it's like, man, it's still not done. Ugh, sometimes you just gotta know when to like hit the button to relax it a little bit. Speaking of feedback, your voice is slightly audible in a TikTok I made of my hamster. That's interesting. No, I don't care. That's pretty funny. You're making a TikTok of your hamster while listening to a Dannphan in the background. Based. Alright. It's fine. Take your time with it. Yeah, you know. I do have to start redoing some work on the Sonic City Witch pages. I was hoping to have that campaign ready by August. So for those of you, you know, keeping up with the timeline we have going on here, you know. It's when you're talking about feedback. Yeah, well, yeah. Good old feedback. But yeah, and then there's also like games that I specifically like a dating sim that I was working on, and I was hoping on doing more because I'm kind of interested in doing that stuff in the future. Not that it would take a priority over the comic stuff, because obviously comic stuff comes first over everything. But I am interested in that section of storytelling as well. Will you do a review of the Knuckles Paramount Plus series? I haven't seen it. The most of the criticism that I've been hearing about it is that it should have been called Knuckles and Wade, because Wade takes up a lot of the show. And that makes sense to me, I guess, because, obviously it's expensive to animate Knuckles. So of course they're going to want to cut down on that CGI money here and there. There was some interesting stuff that I saw from the show, though. Some really good-looking shots, and the whole musical play sequence where Wade is dressed up as Knuckles and going through all the Sonic levels. That was really unique and creative. And I was not expecting to see that come from the Paramount Knuckles show. That was really surprising. But I hate Wade. I never liked Wade, as just straight up, From the inception of the movies, he was always just dumb guy in the background, and I did not have any interest in him ever becoming a main character in any scenario. He's just some two-dimensional stereotype dumb guy background character. So I didn't have any interest whatsoever in the Knuckles show, because I kind of knew from the beginning that it's really going to be more so about Wade than it is going to be about Knuckles. But it is what it is. I could watch it regardless. It's not like I'm super against watching it, but I kind of just don't expect to like it. People are pretty 50-50, saying that it's a mixed bag. People who were expecting Knuckles to take the main focus were disappointed, because that's not exactly what the show is. Not that he doesn't have any focus whatsoever, but Hey, Trish, been a while since I've been here. I've been having sleep and some health issues, but I made it here this time. On the mend now, me. Okay. Well, good to see you, Oscar. Let me see. Have you seen the new Scott Pilgrim anime / series? No, I guess it kind of shocks people still when I say this, but I never liked Scott Pilgrim from the beginning. It was just something that does not speak to me, I don't even know where to begin in trying to explain why. It's just, it's just not my thing. I did hear the thing that the new Scott Pilgrim show did that was supposed to be unique is not making it about Scott Pilgrim at all. He immediately dies or something. That was what I heard. I don't really know much about it, of course, but I remember watching my first introduction into Scott Pilgrim was the live action movie. And the whole time I just kept on thinking, why does he care about this girl? Why try so hard? She doesn't seem that great. It's the romance really sucked. Sorry. I just didn't get it. It just didn't latch on to me. When a knight goes out there to save a princess, usually the princess is really nice and charming and beautiful, but I didn't see that in the first Scott Pilgrim film. And I later that they were based on comics. And I never went to read the comics, although I've been told that they're better. I've been told that they're better than the movie, which makes sense, of course, because you have more time to actually establish a relationship before he has to go fight a bunch of strangers who fucked his girlfriend before him. But you know, whatever. Yeah, I never read the comics, so I wouldn't really know. First time here, happy to finally be in a stream. Well, welcome. Welcome to the streams. We, you know, one of the nice things about these weekly streams is that we kind of just talk about whatever. But, you know. The movie sucked. Honest Trailers vid on Scott was spot on. Everyone sucks in the movies. Nifs is cool. Alright. Kind of figure as much. Spent the whole movie telling him to get away from Ramona because she's a blue hair. Oh yeah, that's right. We do have the colored hair going on there, huh? It's surprisingly good, but the series as a whole was just okay. The comic had its moments, though. That's fair. Oh, okay, knives. Is that it? My friend told me that Scott was supposed to get with knives, but the author backed down from that ending. That's interesting. Yeah, well, it happens. It happens. I've certainly read my fair share of comics where they have like an afterword with the author and they kind of explain how it changed over time. And sometimes what it is just as simple as I had this vision in mind to go this direction, but the editor told me it was a bad idea, so I went the exact opposite direction. And sometimes it's a good idea, right? Sometimes, you know, the original concept didn't work and maybe it was better to go in a different direction. But then other times it's like, your editor was wrong. Your editor was so wrong. You should have went with the original vision, you know? It's actually pretty rare in a lot of cases where I see those notes from the author and I actually agree with the editor. In a lot of cases, I think the writer knows what they want, and maybe it clashes with what other people want for what they're writing. Hey Matthew, looking good. Did you see Kong X Godzilla? That's a different one from like Godzilla versus Kong, I assume. Kong X Godzilla? Are they dating? Because usually that's like the Tumblr thing, to put the X in between the names. Oh yeah, Godzilla X Kong, the new empire. Yeah, you know, every time I hear about a new Godzilla movie, it's just referred to as the new Godzilla movie. So I didn't even know the title, I just knew that there was a Godzilla movie out. No, I didn't see it. It's been a while. But I've heard kinda, the last Godzilla movie I watched was King of the Monsters, which I realize might be way far back at this point. -1 was one that a lot of people were recommending to us. King of the Monsters had some absolutely like terrible writing, I gotta say, but the action scenes were very good. And that's usually what you can expect from all Godzilla movies, where like all of the human parts suck, but then once you get to like the action sequences where the animators just go crazy and do whatever they want, then it's cool, right? So, I mean, if you go in there with the right expectations, you'll enjoy just about any Godzilla movie, because I'm sure so long as they don't fuck up the fight scenes, you're gonna go out of there being like, yeah, that was awesome. Hell yeah, he punched him in the face. It was great. But no, I didn't see him versing Kong. I know that, I think the thing with that movie was that Mechagodzilla shows up and then they have to team up to fight Mechagodzilla. And then I guess the idea with this new movie is that now they're just bros and they team up to fight more. I'm assuming. I know I'm jumping to conclusions here. But yeah. Writing was ouch. Oh yeah, it was brutal. They say like all hail the king twice. So silly. Poor nerfed humans, no other options for giant monsters. Yeah, I wouldn't mind watching more Godzilla movies for sure. So long as they get those fight scenes right, man. That's all you gotta do. All you gotta do is get those cool action scenes and we're good to go. Kong is replacing what Anguis was in the older Japanese films. That's interesting, okay. Huh. Well, those old Japanese films were very, very different, of course. Never got into the Godzilla movies, but I remember in elementary school I used to read these books that did recaps and breakdowns of old monster movies. Yeah, that's something. I still, every now and then, will, instead of, like, watching something or reading something, I'll just, like, look at somebody else's recap on the thing on YouTube. But usually there's, like, a good reason for why. Because, like, if I'm only half interested in something, or if I'm not sure if I'm going to enjoy something, I'd rather get, like, a breakdown of it from somebody else so I know what the experience was. And I don't really care about spoilers that much. And this is something that, you know, differs between me and a lot of the internet. But a spoiler will not ruin something for me. Because I think the experience of, like, actually seeing the story unfold, even if you know where it's going, it can still be fun. It's like movies that rely on a twist at the end to make it seem cool. Usually, even if you know the twist, it could still be a fun movie to watch it over again, because then you can recognize the clues that are leading up to that twist, and you can still enjoy the twist. Unless the movie is, like, poorly written, and there are no clues leading up to the twist, and it's just, like, super random and not good. It's just not well done at all. You know what I mean? But I know that is, like, what differs between me and a lot of people online, is that I don't care about spoilers. I don't think that they ruin the experience for me. And being a writer myself, trying to put out, like, these comics and stuff, I have to, like, reel myself back from posting spoilers for my own stuff, because, like me, I want to talk about it. Before the book is even in the reader's hands, I want to talk about the book online and, like, you know, talk about, oh, remember when I did this, and oh, look at this art piece that has giant spoilers all over it. But I can't. I have to really pull myself back from doing that, especially when I was doing Reaper. Because my art is, like, improving as I'm drawing the book, which, you know, just kind of naturally happens. You're just getting in a groove, and you're getting better at drawing the characters, etc., etc. But I can't show most of the art from the last half of the book. And that's brutal, because that's a lot of the good art is in the last half of the book. I can't show it because it has spoilers, and even though I don't care about spoilers, I know other people will. Oh, you know how it is. Spoilers are part of the journey. Yeah. Hey, Mark, getting car fixed, but had to give the support. Will catch rewatch later. Go Reaper. Thanks, man. Really appreciate it. There are something that I hate very much about spoilers at times. I hate YouTube because people will write out spoil stuff in the thumbnail to be the first upload. Yeah, I mean, like, also sometimes I think that, sometimes I wonder if, when I'm doing, like, the video thumbnail, and I think that it's been long enough for people to already know, I won't really care about the spoiler in the thumbnail thing. And sometimes what I think is not a spoiler, other people will see as a spoiler. Like, when I did the, like, One Piece live reactions, I would just take a screenshot of, whatever and put it in the thumbnail. And sometimes it wouldn't even be, like, something that important, but it's just, like, in the thumbnail, it's just, like, a character's face, and people would consider that to be a spoiler, because it's like, oh, I didn't know he was going to show up in that chapter. But it's like, yeah, but you don't know what he's doing. There's no major plot points in the thumbnail or anything. I don't know. It's a little bit difficult, because I don't really know what'll upset people sometimes. Like, people also got upset about, like, I covered the last Star Wars movie at one point, and then it turned out that the leaks were real, and then I put one of the photos from the movie in the thumbnail, and I didn't think it was that big of a spoiler. It's just Rey holding a lightsaber, but a lot of people were, like, upset with that thumbnail because they thought I spoiled. Even though, you know, if you watched, like, the leaks video, then you already know all of the spoilers, because I didn't know if the leaks were real or not. I just covered them because I thought they were funny, and then it turns out that they were real, so it's like, well, sorry. But that's how it goes sometimes. Actually own Art of You, Dannphan. I have more time since my contract was terminated from my job. Hope I can get to it, though. I need to draw May from Pokemon, because it's, well, May. Well, I'll be excited to see some of your art. I love me some fan art, man. I do. I wish I had more time to do fan art of my own. I should have more time soon, though. Sometime soon, yeah. Between everything. I think the last fan art piece I did was probably a free run. And then everything else is just, like, practice sketches, which I could also do just as fan art practice sketches. But, you know. A friend of mine recently spoiled book 7 of Harry Potter for me. It was very sad because I was meaning to get back to it one day after I put it down. You know, like, Harry Potter, it's kind of been out for long enough that I would be surprised that you wouldn't even know all the spoilers. The big thing that happened when the books were first being written and coming out, and it was a big deal to go get the book and be the first to read it, right? And then there were just people that would drive by as all these people are waiting in line to get the next book. There would be people who would drive by and just yell out the spoiler. But the spoiler about, like, that one particular book, and then they just drive away, and it was supposed to be a ha-ha moment. But it's like, me, if I were in that line, I wouldn't care. Just be like, yeah, sure, whatever. I can't wait to read it now. I can't wait to see how that happens. But for other people, they would lose their mind, which kind of only encouraged more people to keep spoiling the book because they were losing their mind, you know? My friend and I were in line. We got spoiled like that. Yeah. No spoilers, please. I'm just finally reading them. Well, if you've also watched the book, you already know. If you also watched the movies, you already know the spoiler. It was a meme online for the longest time because of how much that spoiler just like spread like rapid fire. But, you know, yeah, major spoiler for the Titanic that sinks, yeah, right. Question, do you play or watch or read Yu-Gi-Oh? If so, who is your favorite character and card? That's an interesting question. Me and my boyfriend not too long ago rewatched the original Yu-Gi-Oh series. Ton of fun. Ton of fun. Yeah, I feel like I gotta say that my favorite character is Kaiba. He's just kind of funny. He's a kind of funny guy. Second favorite, maybe Joey. I got a soft spots for the funny guys, you know. Very funny in very different directions, of course. Favorite card? There's a lot of cards that I really liked when I was younger. I really liked collecting like all of the witch and female like spellcaster cards. You know, obviously, you know, Dark Magician Girl being one of them. But that was more rare, so I don't think I had that card when I was putting things together. But I also enjoyed a lot of the dragons. There was this one art for, I think it was Luster Dragon. One of the art looks like shit, and then one art looks really good for this fucking dragon. Let me see. Yes, this is the good one. And that's the shitty one right there. Oh, sorry, I should be sharing my screen, shouldn't I? There we go. Now you can see. Eh? So, like, this looks cool, because it looks like there's, like, a bunch of, like, fucking gems and shit for his skin, right? And then this one is, like, fine, I guess. I don't know. I don't like how they drew his, like, front legs there, and I guess the crystals going up the back of his legs are interesting, but, you know, it just, I like the other, I like this art. This art is superior, in my humble opinion. But yeah, Luster Dragon's pretty cool. Blue Eyes White Dragon, classic, always a classic. Top 20 fave cards. Ah, jeez, let me get a list. More like dragon covered in gasoline. What does your shirt say? Vape Man? Definitely not Vape Man. I don't know how you, I think your mind is somewhere else. It's Cape May. It's a beach. I got the shirt at the beach. Vape Man. Okay. Ape Man. Yeah, there it is. Of course. Yeah, I think Yu-Gi-Oh cards, the new ones, they definitely look different, but I wouldn't say that they look bad different. It's just that they get new artists on board, and then, you know, it doesn't look bad. It just looks like basic anime stuff rather than being like the classic Yu-Gi-Oh style. But yeah, I watched the original series, and then after we were done watching the original series, we checked out GX. We didn't watch too much of that, but I didn't think it was too bad. Adam thought it was kind of annoying, so we didn't watch too much of it. And then we got into the one where they're riding on motorcycles. Which one is that? Which one is that? What is it called? Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Gs. Let's get up to speed with Yu-Gi-Oh! 5G. Yeah, 5Ds or 5Ds. 5D with a, yeah. Let's get up to speed with Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds. That's it. That's it. Every single time there's a fucking ad reel. That's what they say. Because they're on motorcycles, so they speed. The first season of that was really interesting, not gonna lie. We were kind of into it. But then the way that they ended the first season, we were like, what the fuck? They did a real 180 on us. And, yeah, I wasn't feeling it. So, Adam watched a little bit more of it, but didn't have its same charm when it was first starting out. Yeah, I guess I mentioned when I was doing my Finding God in anime video, I did mention that I watched like the first season of Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds, because that was one of the examples that they had in the books. That was a really weird chapter. But, you know. Most of Yu-Gi-Oh! Kids are getting retraining. 5Ds had changes. Crow was going to be the bad guy. Yeah, that 5D's nuts. Yeah, very, very classy, Brian. Heyo, what's up, Crizzlet? First time I've caught this live. Well, welcome. Yeah, I was thinking about doing these streams later at night because I was thinking maybe more people would be able to catch up if it was later. But then there's also some people that are like, no, I won't be able to catch it if it's too late at night. So, for the most part, I've kept it at 4:30, but I could also go later. Something to consider, guys. Never seen Yu-Gi-Oh! Not even as a kid? My god. It's very campy. You gotta know what you're getting into. And granted, you know, part of it really is nostalgia, what keeps us so attached to it even after all these years. But it is a fun watch. It's very fun. I'm late because I'm used to it being later. Yeah, I guess so. Summer is basically here. We didn't have much of a spring. It feels like we just jumped straight to summer. I don't know if it was the same experience for everyone around the world, but yeah. For a long time, it was just like hot, cold, hot, cold, hot, cold. And now it looks like we're finally going into the hot days. So, mostly 80 to 90 degree weather. Well, I don't think we've hit the 90s yet, but yeah, mostly 80 degree weather. Mid 80s, perhaps. But yeah, I would have preferred a more proper spring, you know? The 70 degree weather outside, perfect. Perfect stuff. Beautiful stuff. The best. But no, it feels like we kind of skipped over that. So, switching off, getting the summer clothes out, getting some new dresses, stuff like that. It's gonna be good. It's been hot for a couple days now. Yeah. Yeah. I'm surprised. I haven't seen the Ice Cream Man. I saw him like once, maybe a week ago. Haven't seen him again since. Bastard's avoiding me. He knows. Maybe he's just working on the weekends. I don't know. I don't know what the logic is. When I was younger, it felt like every day during the summer the Ice Cream Man was just driving around. But maybe that's just child brain. All the days like morph together. Always prefer Dragon Ball Z to Yu-Gi-Oh! Rather bash the thing myself than summon some creature to do the dirty work for me, and Yugi seemed much more merch driven. Yes, very true, very true. They really wanted to sell the card game, and they succeeded. They succeeded so hard that it basically funded all the anime. It was like the manga funded like the first anime, but once the card game picked up and once people were completely addicted to playing that, that's really what funded everything else from then. And it didn't even matter if like the manga series was still going, but because they had the cards, and the cards were the big seller. And now, especially even now, we have the video games, which is basically the card game but virtual. So yeah, but no, you're right on the ball with that. I've never seen the original English dub of Dragon Ball. most of my watching of Dragon Ball has been very recently Dragon Ball Super stuff. Which, you know, isn't that like bad of an introduction, I don't think anyways. I remember we watched this movie again recently. It was the Dragon Ball Super movie, which is supposed to be like the intro to the Dragon Ball Super series. And I actually really enjoyed that movie. I don't think it was a bad introduction to the series either, because that movie takes the time to introduce you to all of the characters. Once again, very campy movie, but it was kind of up my alley, you know? I enjoyed the cheesiness of it, and the fight scenes were also really, really fun. But yeah. And then we watched the Broly movie afterwards, the like retconned Super Broly movie. Not as good. Not terrible, but like 90% of the movie, keep in mind, is a fight scene. It's just a really, 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 really long fight scene. And I think the way that they wrap up, like the way that they solve the Broly problem, could have been better. They were really like pushing for this one alien girl to be like the waifu of Broly, but she doesn't really get a whole lot of screen time, and I don't know, I just wasn't feeling it for this girl, even though they're like really pushing her to be like Broly's waifu. I just like, she doesn't really do much, you know? She spends most of the movie running from one end of the ship to the other end of the ship. And then, like, her wishes to, like, save Broly at the end, which is, like, cute, I guess. But you could have wished for a lot. You could have wished for Broly to have, like, control of his powers and stuff like that, so that he wouldn't be a threat. But, you know. It's cute. It's cute that she likes him. They could have done a better job establishing the relationship. And I feel bad that his dad insta-died. But there was this one, like in the comments section of the movie after we were done watching, there was this one funny comment where it's like, "Hey Broly, want to see a dead body?" That is basically his dad's death. That's what the scene felt like. It was crazy. But yeah, I didn't like it as much as the first Super movie, but I still had fun. I still had fun watching it, for sure. But yeah, I'd like to watch more of the Dragon Ball series, for sure. For sure. It's very charming, even though, like, people criticize it for being, like, super repetitive. He just gets a new form and then beats up the bad guy, blah, 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 right? And that's fine, so long as it's fun, right? Who cares? Like, I had fun watching the movies, so, I don't know. Who cares? But she should have wished for actual water on that planet. Yeah, that would be helpful, right? Yeah. You laugh when you feel bad. Yeah, a little bit. It was a little bit of a goofy death scene, but you know. Apparently, all of the original Broly movies were not well received, so it wasn't that big a deal to retcon Broly as a character. But Dragon Ball definitely does have an issue with consistency. And you know, part of that you can sort of point to the fact that unfortunately the mangaka was going through Alzheimer's at the end of his life and would just forget things that he had already set up. But sometimes it applies to the movies as well. Like the Super movie, they they had some throwaway line where, what was it, Lord Beerus says something like, oh yeah, last time I was at Earth, I extincted the dinosaurs. And like that, okay, that's funny, but dinosaurs exist on Earth in the Dragon Ball universe. They're like still around. And even when they're fighting, like they fly through an area that just has dinosaurs in it. And it's like, well, you missed some. You know, clearly you didn't extinct them all. You know, it's confusing. And then when we were watching the Dragon Ball Super Broly, the whole Broly retcon movie, right? Once again, it's like a thing in Dragon Ball that Saiyans don't age, or they stay in their prime age for the rest of their life. And Bulma mentions this. And she's like, you don't understand what it's like to get old because you're Saiyans. Saiyans don't understand, right? But then, like, the next scene, basically, we meet Broly and his dad is aged. Like, he has gray hair and everything. He looks visibly older. He looks like an old man. So it's confusing. It's really confusing. I'm sure maybe some of this can be blamed on translation, but it is what it is. It just feels like there's some inconsistencies, even within like these movies, these like brief, you know what I mean? And the same is true of this series. Is like a lot of people talk about how there are inconsistencies within the shows, but even within the movies where theoretically you're doing like these simpler, condensed stories. He's not referring to a whole race of dinosaurs, but a specific dinosaur civilization in the distant past. Were there like humanoid dinosaurs? I don't know. They start aging again on 80 years? I thought they just stayed the same age until they die. Like, they just die looking like their prime. That's the impression that I got with how they were talking about it. Bulma has to get the Dragon Balls to de-age herself every decade, probably, yeah. It's pretty funny. The second Broly movie in particular is my least favorite DBZ film. You're referring to like the original Broly movies? I heard that they were all like poorly received. The first one, apparently, like the very first original Broly movie, apparently, I didn't watch it, so I can't tell you from firsthand, but apparently they had the craziest audio mixing problems, so it was almost impossible to understand the dialogue, especially because like the music was like really loud during these sections where they were supposed to be talking, and they mistimed some of the songs, and I heard that it had all these problems with it that made it like really bad, but that people really liked the character. And that's the big thing. Like, even though a lot of the movies were poorly received, people really latched on to the character of Broly. And that's kind of nice to see. It's good to see that they, like, tried to bring him back, even if it has to be done in some sort of retcon-y way. I appreciate that they're trying, you know? Because you know, me being introduced to the character, I think he's interesting. I think he's worth bringing back. But yeah. Thanks and have a great one, everybody. I'm asleep. Well, good night. We'll probably wrap up this stream in a bit anyways, so no problem. They start aging on 80. Saw it on a vid short. Oh, you mean like on YouTube? You saw it on a short video? Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they set that up somewhere else. Vegeta said about 80 when aging kicks in for Saiyans, I think. Interesting. Interesting. those are like the same years as like human years, like 80. Because I, you know, with space travel, considering, I don't know how old they're supposed to be, but Broly is iconic, but not a well-written character, the old version at least. Yeah. Bring back Raditz. Krillin has died 5 times. Yeah. So the last Dragon Ball Super movie was, I believe, called Superhero. And I did not hear the best things about it. I heard that the issue some people were taking was just that, you know, Goku isn't really the main character. They like switched the focus onto other characters that people weren't as interested in. I didn't watch it, so don't take my word for it by any means, but this is just what I've been hearing. So, I never kept up with the Super series, but I would tune into an episode every now and then, whenever like Adam was watching it, and I guess we have catching up to do. It's a little bit upsetting now that the creator is gone, but you know, hopefully it doesn't completely just go to shit now. You know? 3D style's a little jarring. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not a fan of the 3D stuff. Broly's Second Coming sucks. Go watch World's Strongest, Battle of Gods, Fusion Reborn, and Wrath of the Dragon instead. Alright, got some recommendations. I appreciate it, thanks. Ugh, I actually liked that Goku wasn't the MC in Superhero. Yeah. It works better than I thought it would, though. Yeah. Fair enough, fair enough. I believe it's like Piccolo is the main character for the Superhero movie, I think. Or something like that. Was it a team? Piccolo and somebody else? I can't get Dragon Ball stuff off my Twitter timeline. I love DBZ, but man, it's too much. Yeah, it's always sad, like, you know, when a creator dies, and I understand that people want to pay their respects, but it also just, like, blows up your timeline completely, and then, like, all you see everywhere is just sad stuff about the creator of something that you like dying. It's like, aw. Do not underestimate Goku in Super. They have watered him down and dumbed him down, but Kakarot is a fighting genius. Alright, well, no biggie. It's good to get the criticism out of the way, I guess. I wouldn't mind looking back at the original series, of course. No reason why I can't just watch everything. Right now, a lot of the anime that I'm trying to keep up with is a little bit difficult to find time to watch. But if I can convince Adam to just watch it with me, it's a lot easier. Because I don't want to watch anything that, like, Adam doesn't want to watch, right? But he likes Dragon Ball. So I can definitely watch Dragon Ball with him and have that all kind of work out. They dumbed Goku down? Well, damn. Start with actual Dragon Ball, no Z. Yeah, there's this one, like, isn't there the one filler series? Was it Z? Or was it Z Kai? Because I think, yeah, Dragon Ball Z and Dragon Ball Z Kai is, like, different, right? The OG Dragon Ball is so good. Yeah, fair. Goku is simple, not dumb. I agree that a lot of the time that'll get conflated all the time, where an author writes a character to just be like simple guy with simple needs, and then someone else will take over and they'll just be like, oh, so he's a fucking idiot, huh? Time to write him as the dumbest piece of shitting on the planet. It's like rewatching Fairly Odd Parents. Cosmo was not originally an idiot. He was just like simple and kind of nice. It's just kind of a simple, nice guy with a lot of dad jokes. And then later on, they're just like, what if he was just unbelievably stupid? And then that's Cosmo for the rest of the Fairly Odd Parents series. It's like one season. You get one season of him just being normal. And then they just decided he would be unhinged. It gets really exhausting when that same like haha stupid character is just repeated across like all cartoons ever. It's so exhausting. But, you know, it happens. But yeah, I can definitely get on to watching the original series. That's probably really the best way to start. But I stand by what I said before. I did like that first Dragon Ball Super movie, and I didn't think it was a bad introduction into the series. Because you got to see every character, and you got to like see like what they had become, and they're all like friends and buddy, and it's very campy, but it was enjoyable. But yeah, so we're just about at the end of the Friday with Dannphan stream. Of course, we only go on for about an hour. I know, it's very, very sad. We'll have to find more time to do longer streams in the future. But yeah, that's about all we got for now. Reaper should be off to the printers by next week. I will keep you updated, and hopefully next Friday I'll be talking big and bold about how I just sent Reaper to the printers, and soon we will have some books. That'll be so very exciting. In the meantime, I'll be working on editing. I'll be working on the illustrations. I'm done a lot of... I'm pretty much done all of the extra pages. Actually, yeah. Yeah, I am done all the extra pages. It's really more so about, like, the illustrations, the back cover of the book, and the editing. And that's it. And I'm very excited to get the book in your hands when it's done. Get it up on the website. It's going to be great. And you are going to really enjoy it. So, thank you guys for watching another Friday with Dannphan. We'll see you next time on the next stream, and perhaps in the next video. I got a couple different video ideas that I'd like to do, and we got a fair this weekend, so I might only have time to do one video for the next upcoming week, but we'll see how it works out. So, good night everybody. We'll see you